be some serious shit.
Good evening, hello, and welcome to another edition of the Big Nerd Pub Quiz, your weekly dose of general knowledge trivia coming to you live from my bedroom here in Rostrevor, County Down. Hope you've all had a great week and having a great weekend. We've got loads of questions and all coming up for you in the next hour, but this is how you play Big Nerd Pub Quiz if you haven't done it before. Very straightforward, like we always do. Open the Google Doc in the YouTube description below. Open it up. You can play as a team or individually. Enter your email address into the top part of the answer sheet and answer the multiple choice questions as they are asked. 8 rounds of 6 questions each. There's only one correct answer per question. Once the quiz is finished, simply hit submit and you get your scores at the very end of the quiz. But like I said, stick about to see your answers at the very end of the show. Don't forget, you can stream your quiz on a TV or a laptop. It's totally up to yourself. Like I said before, it's always a bit of crack anyway. So enjoy yourself and have some fun. Don't forget, you can get in touch with the Big Nerd Pub Quiz on all these different social media channels. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. If you'd like a shout out at any point throughout the night, give us an email. The best way to do it is via Facebook and Instagram. Do use Twitter, but it's not really as good, I think. But anyway, those are all the different ways you can get in touch. But if you want to even write a quiz, or got any suggestions for some rounds or questions or anything like that, by all means, do give us a shout. Use the hashtag BigNerdPubQuiz. Share your photographs. Love seeing where you're playing. Let me know how you get on as well. Always love to see how you guys score and how you guys find the quiz. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Yes. Share the Big Nerd Pub Quiz with your friends if you're enjoying it. Don't forget you can replay any of the quizzes that we've done in the past. That just represents a kind of slither of what we've done, actually. You know, we've done Marvel DC, we've done Father Ted, we've done Lord of the Rings, Doctor Who. Loads and loads of quizzes, speciality quizzes. And don't forget, you can hire the Big Nerd Pub Quiz. Did my first corporate gig last week. But yes, it's the perfect activity for social distancing. It's fully customizable and very affordable and easy to set up. If you want more information on that, give us an email for a quote. General knowledge quiz now every Sunday night, which I'll probably going to keep doing. Just going to keep reducing it down, so it is just going to be on the Sunday night itself. But yes, general knowledge quiz is now on every Sunday. And yes, this is what's coming up this week. We got the Big Nerd Games quiz this Tuesday for all you games fans. It's on Tuesday the 21st at 8 p.m. And the wrestling quiz, which is going to be on the 23rd. Yes, this wrestling quiz is actually written by Jason Norris, who's actually written a book about wrestling himself called Women Love Wrestling. Kind of basically, you know, you've seen like the Netflix show Glow. So yes, we're like flying through the month. We nearly finished it. Only 2 more weeks to go of July. And don't forget, tonight, as always, you can win this snazzy Big Nerd Pub Quiz t-shirt, which you can buy from the Northern Iron Teas website. Use the hashtag, or use the code BIGQUIZ for a 10% discount. And also, you can win tonight a 12-pack of mixed beers from the Northern Iron Brew Co. Remember that the prize is for 18s only. And do enjoy responsibly. As always, you can support the Big Nerd Pub Quiz by donating to Patreon or PayPal. Like I said, the quiz is always free to play. However, you can support the work that goes into it by donating as little as £1 to the PayPal or become a Patreon. Totally up to yourself. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone out there who's been supporting the quiz over the last couple of weeks. Like, I know we're kind of coming out of lockdown and things are kind of getting back to normal. So yes, I'm thinking of keeping one of the quizzes, boiling it down to one quiz a week, and probably this will be the one to focus all my energy in on. But yes, we'll keep the speciality quizzes coming up, and we'll try different things with all the different quizzes, different things with the YouTube channel. Like it says, I've got the subscribers, but it's one of those things I want to kind of try to keep experimenting with the actual format itself. So yes, do let me know if you have any suggestions or any kind of feedback on that. Anyway, thanks very much for joining us tonight on the Big Nerd Pub Quiz on the Sunday, the 19th of July. We've got, like I said before, 8 rounds of really, really interesting questions for you to get your teeth sucked into. So anyway, here we go. Round 1, like we always do, is general knowledge. Yes. Well, like I said, general knowledge is always mainly about current affairs. So let's see if you've been keeping your eye on the newspapers over the last couple of weeks. So here we go, general knowledge quiz coming right up. Round 1, question 1. So which social media channel was attacked with a hack that made users plug a Bitcoin scam? Yes. It was very widely reported there during the week that this scam had left a lot of very famous people looking a little bit red in the face. Round 1, question 1. Which social media channel was attacked with a hack that made users plug a Bitcoin scam? Like unwittingly plug a Bitcoin scam. It's round 1, question 1. Your first one of tonight. Round 1, question 2. Which member of the British royal family got married in a small ceremony in Windsor at the weekend? It's round 1, question 2. Certainly not as big as the Will and Kate one there. Very, very low-key, even for a royal wedding. But yes, but which member of the royal family got married in a small ceremony at Windsor during the weekend? That's round 1, question 2. Round 1, question 3. So the whiskey brand Johnnie Walker said it would trial the use of environmentally friendly packaging next year. Which recyclable material did they say it would make the bottles out of? Call me old-fashioned, but I thought glass bottles were pretty recyclable anyway. No? But yes, round 1, question 3. Johnnie Walker, the whiskey manufacturer, the whiskey brand, said it would trial the use of environmentally friendly packaging next year. Which recyclable material did they say they would make their bottles out of? It's round 1, question 3. Round 1, question number 4. Scientists in the UK said they've developed a template for coronavirus treatment using antibodies from the blood of which animals? It's a bit of good news here. But round 1, question 4. I've always said I'd try to stay away from the C word on the quiz, but you know, it's kind of hard to avoid, especially when it comes to current affairs quizzes, exactly. But here we go, round 1, question 4. Scientists in the UK said they've developed a template for coronavirus treatment using antibodies from the blood of which animals? It's round 1, question 4. Round 1, question number 5. Big one from my dad here, he's a big Leeds fan, but what's the name of the Argentinian coach that guided Leeds United back to the Premier League for the first time in 16 years? Yes, Leeds United were titans of English football for many years, even reaching the Champions League semi-finals in 2001, only to be relegated like 3 years later due to poor mismanagement and yes, 16 years in the wilderness, even going down to League One at one point. It's round 1, question 5. So name the name of the Argentinian manager, the very famous Argentinian manager who successfully guided Leeds United back to the Premier League for the first time in 14 years. It's round 1, question 5. And your final round tonight, final question of round 1 tonight. Producers to the sequel of the film Chicken Run were accused of ageism after one of the original cast was said they would not be invited back because their voice sounded too old. But which cast member said they would not be invited back? Who was it? Yes, Chicken Run, released in 2000, I think it was. Was created by Aardman Productions, the geniuses behind Wallace and Gromit, Shaun the Sheep, and the animator Nick Park. That's fantastic. Very, very, very funny kids movie. Very, very funny animated movie. But who was told that they wouldn't be invited back because their voice sounded too old? It's round 1, question 6. And there's your final, or the round up there of round 1 questions. So, which social media channel was attacked with a hack that made users plug a Bitcoin scam? Number 2, which member of the British royal family got married in a small ceremony in Windsor at the weekend? 3, whiskey brand Johnny Walker said it would trial the use of environmentally friendly packaging next year, but which recyclable material did they say it would make the bottles with? 4, scientists in the UK said that have developed a template for a coronavirus treatment using antibodies from the blood of which animal? 5, what is the name of the Argentinian coach that guided Leeds United back to the Premier League for the first time in 16 years? And 6, producers of the sequel to the film Chicken Run were accused of ageism after one of the original cast said they would not be invited back because their voice sounded too old. But who was it? Alright, 1 down, 7 to go here on the Big Nerd Pub Quiz tonight. Listen, I hope you're enjoying yourselves. Hope you're all having a good weekend. And yeah, very, very sunny here in Rostrevor, in the South Down Riviera, as I like to call it. Anyway, thanks very much for tuning in. Don't forget, if you want to get in touch with me, by all means, give us a follow on all the different social media channels here. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter there. Anyway, moving on to the next round tonight. And it's all about geography. Yes, right or left hand side drive. Initially, this was only going to be one question. I was only going to ask you like which side of the road does this people in this particular country drive on? But I decided to expand it a bit, and I'm going to give you 6 different countries. You've got to tell me whether they drive on the left-hand side of the road or the right-hand side of the road. Think you can do that? Well, it's more trickier than you think. You probably have to use a bit of intuition and a bit of imagination with this one. Anyway, round 2, geography. Right-hand side or left-hand side of the road? As we all know, we in the UK and Ireland all drive on the left-hand side. But which side of the road do these countries drive in? So here we go. Round 2, question number 1. India. This will probably really help if you've actually been to these countries. Which side of the road do motorists in India drive on? The right-hand side or the left-hand side? It's round 2, question 1. Round 2, question 2. South Africa. There may be a common theme of these countries. See if you can work them out. That probably dictates why they drive on the left or why they drive on the right. Round 2, question 2. Round 2, question 3. Canada. Do they drive on the left-hand side of the road or the right-hand side of the road? Interestingly, I read somewhere that it's actually safer to drive on the left. But then that could be completely anecdotal. But yeah, I did somewhere, the studies do say it's actually safer to drive in the UK and Irish method or way. Round 2, question 3. Round 2, question 4. New Zealand. Which side of the road do they drive on? Jez, you'll probably get this if you're watching tonight, buddy. Round 2, question 4. New Zealand. What side of the road do they drive on? We're on to question 5. Portugal. But there is the city of Lisbon. If you haven't been, do go. It's absolutely beautiful. But which side of the road do the Portuguese drive on? We're on to question 5. And your final left or right hand side drive question tonight. Japan. Which side do motorists in Japan drive on? I see some of you squinting at your television screens. No, you can't see any traffic there. Interestingly, you're looking at the Tokyo Tower. It's a lattice-based structure based on the Eiffel Tower, of course. But down in the kind of bottom, kind of left-hand corner side there, you see a kind of triangular building. That's actually a temple. Really cool piece of modern architecture. Very, very striking building, that. But yes, round 2, question 6. Japan. Do they drive on the left-hand side of the road or the right-hand side of the road? Okay, quick round-up there. So you might be able to kind of work out a kind of common theme between some of these countries. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. But you're round 2. Did they drive on the left-hand side of the road or the right-hand side of the road in India, South Africa, Canada, New Zealand, Portugal, and Japan? Pretty interesting one, I always think. Yeah, maybe the answers will surprise you. They'll be coming up right at the very end of the quiz once you submit your answers. Anyway, I hope you're enjoying yourself tonight. Anyway, moving straight on to the next round. And it's a television round. And it's all about TV living rooms. Yes. We're all very, very used to watching television in our living rooms, but this 6 pictures are going to be of very famous living rooms of TV sitcoms. All you have to do is guess which TV sitcom the living room is based in. So, straightforward enough, does it seem? Anyway, only one way to find out. Round 3, question number 1. Who would live in a house like this? Sounded like Lloyd Grossman in Through the Keyhole. Well, yes. Which fictional sitcom, which sitcom is set here in this particular house? Round 3, question number 1. Round 3, question 2. Not so much a living room, but more of a basement. But a place where the main characters like to hang out quite a lot. Round 3, question 2. Which TV sitcom is this the main living room or the main hangout room? Yes, I'm well aware there is a living room in this particular house as well, but I decided to choose this one. Round 3, question 2. Round 3, question 3. Pretty tricky, this one, because I actually couldn't find... It took me quite a long time to actually find a picture of this, and to the point I actually had to get a screen grab of it. Because there was very few. I tried looking it up. Round 3, question 3. The actual real-life location of the house on the market recently for over $1.5 million. You wouldn't think it from looking at this converted bed sit within this house. But round 3, question 3. Who lives in a house like this? Bear in mind, this is just before they decorated it. Moving on, round 3, question 4. Which TV sitcom living room is this? Round 3, question 5. Who lives in this white male apartment? Yes, definitely needs a woman's touch. But yes, who lives here? Round 3, question 5. Or which sitcom is primarily set here? And finally, your final question tonight. Who lives in this particular house? A little bit more classic, this one. You can tell by the decor. Round 3, question 6. Who lives in, or what sitcom is set in this particular house? Like I said before, more of a classic one. I do remember watching it. They did repeat it on either BBC or RTE when I was growing up as a kid, and I used to love watching the program. But who lives in that particular house? Okay, we'll go through them one more time so it gives you a chance to absorb them into your mind. But here we go, round 3, question 1. Maybe the chair is a clue. Round 3, question 2. Question 3. Question 4. Question 5. And question 6. Okay, so that was your TV round for this week on Big Nerd Pub Quiz. I hope you found that one pretty easy or hard. I don't know. It can be quite tricky, some of these ones. But like I said, some of these locations actually kind of really burn themselves into your memory. But anyway, that's 3 down, 5 to go tonight. Don't forget, if you want a shout out at any point, do give me a message. The best way to do it is via Twitter. Via Facebook or Instagram. Twitter, yes, people do use it occasionally, but I promise I will look at it. I always say every week I will, and I don't. But I will take a glance to see if anyone who's playing tonight has a Twitter feed. Like I said, use the hashtag BigNerdPubQuiz if you want it to pop up. And like I said, share your photographs of where you're playing. And yes, thank you to everyone who played the Doctor Who quiz during the week. Went out really, really well. And yes, it was Mark and Alex Little wrote a fantastic quiz. And if you have any ideas you want to write a quiz yourself, by all means, let me know. Anyway, moving straight on to the next round, our 4th round shall bring us up to half-time here tonight. And it's a history round. What century? Okay, over the next 6 questions, I'm going to present you with 3 historical events. You have to guess which century they took place in. Quite tricky, this one. Now, this is one for all you history buffs out there. Three separate events which took place in this particular century. All you have to do is guess the century. Okay, so here we go. Round 4, question number 1. Fairly easy one, I think, to start off with. But yes, round 4, question 1. The reign of Queen Victoria, the advancement of the Industrial Revolution, and the US Civil War. So which century did these 3 events take place in? Round 4, question 1. Round 4, question number 2. So, Britain invaded and conquered by the Roman Empire. Pompeii destroyed by the Vesuvius eruption. And Caligula ruled in this century. Pompeii famously preserved under the ash and the rubble. If you ever do visit that region, it's near Naples, under Vesuvius, you can see Pompeii, and would recommend you visit Herculaneum as well. Herculaneum is smaller than Pompeii, but well more preserved. It's fascinating to see, like, preservation of Roman life. But yes, which century did that disaster happen in? That's round 4, question 2. Round 4, question 3. The mercury thermometer is invented. Robinson Crusoe is written. And the German composer Johann Sebastian Bach dies. Which century did this take place? Or those 3 events take place in? Round 4, question 3. The mercury thermometer invented, Robinson Crusoe written, and German composer Johann Sebastian Bach passes away. Round 4, question 3. Round 4, question 4. Joan of Arc is born and dies in this century. Gutenberg invents the printing press. And Leonardo da Vinci paints The Last Supper. Which century did these 3 events occur? It's round 4, question 4. Joan of Arc born and dies in this century. Gutenberg invents the printing press. Leonardo da Vinci paints The Last Supper. Round 4, question 4. Round 4, question 5. Genghis Khan is born. Henry II crowned King of England. And the first recorded use of windmills. Yes, Genghis Khan led a very nomadic people to probably one of the largest empires of its time, but very short-lived one. But which century did this event take place in? Or those 3 events, which century did those take place in? Round 4, question 5. And finally, round 4, question 6. Elizabeth I comes to the throne. Shakespeare writes Romeo and Juliet. The defeat of the Spanish Armada. So which century did those 3 events take place in? And there's your roundup there of history questions. Like I said before, I'm just looking for the century in which those events took place. So round 4, question 1. The reign of Queen Victoria, the advancement of the Industrial Revolution, and the US Civil Wars. Question number 1. Question 2. Britain invaded and conquered by the Roman Empire. Pompeii destroyed by Vesuvius eruptions. And Caligula ruled. Number 3. The mercury thermometer invented. Robinson Crusoe written. German composer Bach passes away. 4. Joan of Arc born and died in this century. Gutenberg invents the printing press, and Leonardo da Vinci paints The Last Supper. 5. Genghis Khan born Henry II crowned King of England and the first recorded use of windmills. And 6. Elizabeth I comes to the throne. Shakespeare writes Romeo and Juliet, and the defeat of the Spanish Armada. Yes, that's round 4 all wrapped up, and like I said, this is halfway point throughout the quiz. Yes, do get in touch with me. I've got a couple of wee shout-outs here to do, but as we always do at this point in the quiz, a couple of little shout-outs and wee mentions and nods to other little podcasts and the creative ventures that are out there as well that have been really supportive of the quiz itself. Don't forget, check out Stuck in Here With You podcast on Spotify, Podbean, and Apple Podcasts. Surely that should be coming to an end soon now that the lockdown is being lifted. We'll have to see. Also, Hot Topic Nightmare. Paul has very kindly written a portion of the games quiz. He says he's going to write a Nintendo round. But he's also written the Pokemon quiz. But yes, do check out Hot Topic Nightmare there. Also, do check out the fantastic blogs from Banterflex and the Fry Club. If you're a big movie buff and you're into horror movies, check out the Fry Club's Twitter feed there at Fry Club NI. And also big thanks to those guys for writing the horror movie quiz and the movie and Disney quizzes. Also check out the Nerd Party. More podcasts dedicated to different fandoms out there, so do check that out. Also, if you're up and about early in the weekdays, do check out my breakfast show on zestfm.co.uk. It's the Mark Hughes Breakfast Show on from 7 till 10. Or I'm continuing my coverage of Live Aid 35, playing the set list from the US portion of the Live Aid concerts from JFK Stadium, Philadelphia. And you could be in to win this fantastic Northern Tees t-shirt, a Big Nerd Pub Quiz t-shirt, and a fantastic selection of craft beers from Northern Brew Co. So do check those out. Yes, also produce the fantastic Lockdown Pale Ale, which is available from all those different outlets there across the province. And like I said before, don't forget you can support the Big Nerd Pub Quiz by donating as little as £1 to the PayPal and Patreon. Massive thanks to everyone who's been doing that supporting. Really, really do appreciate it. Cian and Lena are playing in Dublin here, and all the Guckins and the Barons are playing in Drumshambo and in Letterkenny. Good to hear from you guys, regular players there. Michael Western's also playing tonight. He says, hello, can I have a shout out, please? Hello, there's your shout out. Anyway, big shout out to my London crew, all the guys who are listening out there. And welcome back, Declan McKay, who's come all the way back from Jersey. He finally made it home after nearly a year of self-imposed exile, but then the end of it was 3 months tacked on because of coronavirus. Anyway, I hope you're all staying safe. Hope you're all, even though the lockdown is technically ending, the coronavirus is still out there. Do practice safe social distancing and do wear a mask when you can. Who else is there? Can you give us a shout to Supervan Nick, who's playing with Pixie in Gloucester, and that's from Becky. Yes, hello. Anyway, keep your shoutouts coming in. I'll see if I can get some more done before the end of this show. But thank you very much for playing, like I said, on a Sunday night. And it's a very, very beautiful Sunday afternoon here in Rostrevor, County Down. But anyway, moving on to the next round tonight. Round 5, as always, on the Big Nerd Pub Quiz. Love it or loathe it, it's the sports round. Yes, sports round tonight is one of those ones where you have to put things in order. I'm going to show you 6 Olympic Games. All you have to do is put when those Olympic Games took place. I've avoided using ones which have had multiple Olympic Games take place in them. As we all know, London has had 3. Paris is having 2. But anyway, moving on, round 5, all about sports, and here it is. All you have to do is put these Summer Olympics in order in which they took place. So Melbourne, Barcelona, Amsterdam, Munich, Stockholm, and Montreal. So each of these cities have hosted the Olympic Games once. Like I said, I didn't want to get into areas of confusion. Los Angeles has hosted it twice, but I've left that off the list. Athens has hosted it twice. Again, I've left that off the list. But all these different countries have held the Olympics in their respective cities: Melbourne, Barcelona, Amsterdam, Munich, Stockholm, and Montreal. I want you to place them in order in which they took place. Alright? So yes, Melbourne, Barcelona, Amsterdam, Munich, Stockholm, and Montreal. Interestingly, the equestrian element of the Melbourne Olympics had to actually be held in Stockholm because of very, very strict regulations about bringing flora and fauna into Australia. And that was kind of a bit of a quirk about those particular Olympics in Melbourne. Barcelona Olympics very famously had a theme song written with Freddie Mercury. Unfortunately passed away before he actually performed it. The Munich Olympics, unfortunately, will be forever associated with the terrorist attacks on the Olympic Village and the hostage taking of 11 Israeli athletes. Very unfortunate sequence of events there, but yes, that'll be bizarrely, the actual events continued. They were not suspended because of that tragedy. And Montreal, interestingly enough, before the Olympics started to kind of monetize and get more sponsorship in, Montreal bid for the Olympics and have only recently ended up paying it back in terms of the amount of money that's gone into actually putting those games on. Later Olympic Games saw the use of sponsorship tie-ins later on, but Montreal was kind of one of the last old school Olympics, which was completely commercial free. Fortunately, took a massive toll on the event cost. Now these days they say that the event is so expensive that cities don't even bother bidding on them anymore. They so much so they've actually just given them to Paris and Los Angeles for 2024 and 2028. It's just straight up. No even bidding about it. Every single Olympics runs over budget. But place those Summer Olympics in order in which they took place: Melbourne, Barcelona, Amsterdam, Munich, and Stockholm. I'm going to leave this up for another minute for you to kind of work it out. Maybe you can kind of work it out from the pictures, which seems like the most futuristic one. Work your way out from that. So yes, Melbourne, Barcelona, Amsterdam, Munich, Stockholm, Montreal. Okay, 5 more seconds on this, and then we're going to move on to the next round. All right, so that's your sports round all wrapped up for this evening. Hope you all found that one quite interesting. Like I said, it's one of those ones I thought, you know, we've done ones about the Olympics, but yeah, not ones in terms of dates and stuff like that. So it's kind of like a history round as well. Anyway, moving on to tonight's 6th round. And it's all about music and first albums. Yes, I'm going to give you the titles of the debut albums from these particular artists. All you have to do is guess the actual the artists who played them and what was the name of these particular albums themselves. So anyway, like I said, I was going to put up the artwork, but then that was going to be completely obvious. Some of the artwork is just the band. You would totally be like, I know who they are anyway. But I'm looking for the name, the artists whose first albums had these titles. Okay, so here we go. Round 6, question number 1. So Please Please Me was the debut album of which artist or band? So round 6, question 1. And another kind of one thing about researching these questions, a lot of the first albums are just the name of the band. Because they're kind of really trying to push the name. So a lot of self-titled or first albums, for example, Led Zeppelin 1. Well, it's just Led Zeppelin, isn't it? But yes, round 6, question 1. Please Please Me, first album by which band or artist? Round 6, question 2. Appetite for Destruction. Pretty sure a lot of you guys will get that one. But round 6, question 2. Appetite for Destruction. The debut album of which iconic band? Round 6, question 5. Round 6, question 3. Unknown Pleasures. Unknown Pleasures, the first album. One of only 2. Round 6, question 3. Unknown Pleasures. First album from which group? Round 6, question 4. Horses. Debut album for which artist? Again, I could have shown you the cover, but it's literally of this person. So it would have been like, yeah, just gonna leave it out. But round 6, question 4. Whose debut album was called Horses? Round 6, question 5. Psycho Candy. And this was the type of particular one I might reverse in another round in a couple of weeks. I might do like, I'm going to give you the name of the band and you have to name their first album. But anyway, round 6, question 5. Psycho Candy. 1987, I think it was. And finally, round 6, question 6. The College Dropout. Whose first album was known as The College Dropout. Round 6, question 6. It's very, very fast music round tonight. Just one to go over them once more. So Please Please Me, Appetite for Destruction, Unknown Pleasures, Horses, Psycho Candy, The College Dropout. And these were the debut albums for which artists / musical acts? Please Please Me, Appetite for Destruction, Unknown Pleasures, Horses, Psycho Candy, The College Dropout. I think that's as pretty straightforward as a music round you'll ever get from me. Anyway, like I said, I wrote this quiz this afternoon, and like I thought, that'll be a good one. Most of the times when it comes to the writing of these questions and the quizzes, I always either just I have a notebook, which I just either come up with ideas for rounds. I always find that once you write the round, or if you have the round down, it basically writes itself, because you only got 6 questions. But anyway, like I said, moving on to the next round, our penultimate round of the evening, and it's all about religion. Yes, a topic we haven't really touched upon that much on the Big Nerd Pub Quiz, but anyway, 6 questions all about various religions around the world, and let's see how you get on with that. So round 7, question number 1. Which religious leader's teachings consisted of 4 noble truths? It's round 7, question 1. So yes, which religious leader's teachings consisted of 4 noble truths? It's round 7, question number 1. Round 7, question 2. Who is the current Archbishop of Canterbury? Yes, the primate of the Church of England. Well, the head of the Church of England, of course, is always the monarch. So that would be Queen Elizabeth II. But in terms of the actual running and the spiritual leader of the church is the Archbishop of Canterbury. It's based out of Canterbury Cathedral, one of the oldest cities in England. But who is the Archbishop of Canterbury? Who is the current Archbishop of Canterbury? I think it's York, London, Ely, Oxford. These are all kind of traditional seats. Lincoln, all spectacular cathedrals there too. But who is the current Archbishop of Canterbury? Round 7, question 2. Do love a good cathedral, I do. Round 7, question 3. Which word is the term used for the yearly Islamic pilgrimage to Mecca? Yes, that there is the Great Mosque in Mecca, and what you're looking at there in the black box is known as the Kaaba. And Muslims, every year, they're obliged, it's part of their faith, they have to go to Mecca once in their lifetime. Once they go, the actual pilgrimage itself, it's called something, and that's what the question is here. But when they come back, they have pilgrimaged, they have done their pilgrimage, they fulfilled it. And it's a fascinating. I've saw a documentary recently about what happens and what occurs and what one has to do when in Mecca. It's fascinating to see, and all the different, so many different rituals, not just the praying around the Kaaba 7 times, a multitude of different rituals, all in a way symbolic to the journey of the Prophet Muhammad. But round 7, question 3. What's the term used for the yearly Islamic pilgrimage to Mecca? Round 7, question 4. Which book of the Bible is a collection of 150 songs and poems? To round 7, question 4. Which book of the Bible is the collection of 150 songs and poems? You might be familiar with them if you're a regular churchgoer. They would be in the responsorial portion of the High Mass, between the readings. That's if you are a good churchgoer. Round 7, question 4. Round 7, question 5. What is the name of the Hindu festival of lights? Round 7, question 5. I'm looking for the Hindu festival of lights. What is the name of the Hindu festival of lights? And finally, your final question tonight is of the religious round. Which Jewish festival commemorates the rededication of the Second Temple in Jerusalem? Now, okay, I know that's quite a difficult question, but to give you a little bit of context about what happened, it was the Greeks were attacking a temple in Jerusalem. And the Maccabees, they defended the temple, and they only thought they were going to hold out for, so many hours with much oil they had in their lamps. The oil in the lamp lasted not for 1 day, but 7 or 8, I think it was. It's symbolically celebrated each year by the lighting of the menorah. But that's round 7, question 6. That's your clue on that one. Which Jewish festival commemorates the rededication of the Second Temple in Jerusalem? All right. So think about it. It's probably one you definitely have heard of. Round 7, question 6. If you're a Friends fan. Okay, so your roundup of religious questions there. Which religious leader's teachings considered to be consisted of 4 noble truths? 2, who was the current Archbishop of Canterbury? 3, which term is used for the yearly Islamic pilgrimage to Mecca? 4, which book of the Bible is a collection of 150 songs and poems? 5, what is the name of the Hindu festival of lights? And 6, which Jewish festival commemorates the rededication of the Second Temple in Jerusalem? Alright, so 7 down, 1 to go. This is your final round coming up here. A quick wee shout out here. Just got a message from Sharon Rankin. Can we get a shout out to Daniel and Sharon and Big Dave in Canada? Good to hear from you guys. Yes. Any more shout outs, by all means, do let me know. Do fire them on in. Anyway, moving on to the final round tonight. And like I said before, this is the last round. Do stick about to see what your scores is. What does that stand for is the theme of the last round. It's all about acronyms. We've done a couple of rounds about acronyms before, but this one I've taken a little bit of a modification of that. All you have to do is I'm going to show you just for 6 questions about acronyms. What particular word does that stand for, etc., etc. Anyway, very, very straightforward. My mum recommended me I do this one. But round 8, question number 1. You'll understand what I'm on about when you see it. So round 8, question 1. What does the C in C.S. Lewis stand for? Round 8, question 1. What does the C in C.S. Lewis stand for? Round 8, question 1. That was one my mum posed to me this afternoon. That'd be a good quiz question. I went, yes, it would be. Round 8, question 2. What does the first A in NASA stand for? I can tell you what the other letters stand for. National something Space Administration. But what does the first A in NASA stand for? You always get a space question with me. You know, man, I love a bit of space. Round 8, question 3. What does the I in HDMI stand for? Yes, HDMI is the thing you plug into the back of your televisions. It's high definition media want. It's the HDM bit. Well, what does the I stand for in HDMI? Round 8, question 4. I actually use one of these to run the quiz. But round 8, question 4. What does the S in USB stand for? Universal something bus. But what does the S in USB stand for? It's amazing to think of a time before USB, because all different computers had about loads and loads of different ports to run monitors and mice and keyboards, and this kind of revolutionized it. Became universal, so you can use for like power outputs. And unfortunately, you always find that thing when you plug it in one way, it doesn't work. Try it the other way, it still doesn't work. Try it the third way, always seems to work. I think that's kind of the only kind of flaw about USB. If they had it so you can just plug it straight in. But what does the S in USB stand for? Round 8, question 5. I actually give you this as a bit of a interesting tidbit a couple of weeks ago. But what does the F stand for in F. Scott Fitzgerald? Famous writer of The Great Gatsby, a figure of his time in the 1920s literary scene. But round 8, question 5. What does the F stand for in F. Scott Fitzgerald? Penultimate question tonight. I'm going to give you your final question, like I said before. You hit submit on your answer sheet and you'll get your score straight away. But do stick about to see how well you've done at the very end. So here we go. Round 8, question 6. What does the W stand for in WD-40? Many of you guys have used this. It's one of the most famous kind of hardware tools, or lubricants. But what does the W stand for in WD-40? And I've always been curious, like, okay, if this WD-40, is there a WD-39? Is there a WD-41? Did these exist? Round 8, question 6. What does the W in WD-40 stand for? And there's your roundup there, your final roundup of tonight. So what does the C in C.S. Lewis stand for? 2, what does the first A in NASA stand for? 3, the last I in HDMI, what does that mean? What does the S in USB stand for? F and F. Scott Fitzgerald, what is that? And what does W in WD-40 stand for? Alright, so that's it. That's it from Big Nerd Pub Quiz. That's all your questions for tonight. I hope you found that challenging. Let me know how you got on. Use the hashtag Big Nerd Pub Quiz. Share your photographs and share where you're playing in the world. I always love hearing from you guys. And if you've enjoyed the quiz tonight, don't forget to like and share it with your friends. I'm going to keep this going as long as I can. Like I said before, the Big Nerd Pub Quiz is on every Sunday now. So don't forget to like and share it. Also, you can hire the Big Nerd Pub Quiz. Always happy to do these for private events. And over the next couple of weeks, we're going to keep it down. We're probably going to pare it down to 1 quiz a week. With a general knowledge quiz. Don't forget, we got a games quiz coming up on Tuesday. Should be fun if you have any big gamers in your house. And the Big Nerd Wrestling Quiz on the 23rd, on the Thursday. So for all you big WrestleMania heads out there, by all means, do check that one out. Anyway, so like I said, I hope you've all done well. But let's see where you went wrong or where you went right. So here we go. Here is your answers for tonight's Big Nerd Pub Quiz, July the 19th. Here we go. So Twitter was the social media service that was hacked. Trying to figure out who did it. Princess Beatrice was married at Windsor this weekend. Johnny Walker wanted to make whiskey bottles out of paper, which is interesting given the fact that glass is very recyclable. I don't know why they would want to try that. Anyway, llamas are the creatures with DNA which they think might be able to prevent coronavirus. Marcelo Bielsa, the fantastic Argentinian manager, led Leeds United back to the Premiership. And Julia Sawala, who was told she sounds too old for her character's role in Chicken Run 2. That's very disappointing. So this is the one about which side of the country do you drive in? India on the left, South Africa on the left, Canada on the right, New Zealand on the left, Portugal on the right, and Japan, like us here in the UK and Ireland, drive on the left. So yes, the kind of common thread with all of those are kind of former UK or British colonies, except Canada. Portugal threw that in there because it's European and they all drive on the right hand side of the road, but Japan, interestingly, drive on the left. So there you are. Round 3, those basements or living rooms there. The first one was Frasier, the second one, that's 70 Show, Eric Foreman's room, or Eric Foreman's basement where all the characters hang out. Spaced is the apartment or the bed set where the two guys live, the flat in the show. Married with Children. Number 4, 5, Seinfeld, and 6, the classic comedy, the Brady Bunch. That's their the famous picture of the kids all lined up on the stairs there. Round 4. So those events took place: Queen Victoria's reign, the Industrial Revolution, the 19th century, the 1st century, Vesuvius, Pompeii, the Roman Empire. It's the 1st. The 3rd, modern thermometers, Johann Sebastian Bach, in the 18th. The 15th century was number 4. Joan of Arc, The Last Supper. 12th century, Genghis Khan, Henry II. And the 16th century, the Elizabethan era, the Spanish Armada, and Shakespeare. But Shakespeare actually, interestingly, lived through the death of Elizabeth I and was writing plays when James was on the throne. The order in which those Olympics took place, those Summer Olympics: Stockholm in 1912, Amsterdam in 28, Melbourne in 56, Munich in 72, Montreal 76, and Barcelona in 1992. The debut albums from those bands, Please Please Me, was The Beatles. Appetite for Destruction, Guns N' Roses, one of the highest actually selling debut albums of all time. Unknown Pleasures by Joy Division, which has obviously received way more kind of fame and accolades after the passing of its lead singer Ian Curtis. Patti Smith, Horses, fantastic album. If you haven't listened to that, it's amazing. Psycho Candy, the Jesus and Mary Chain, and number 6, Kanye West, The College Dropout. Round 7 answers all about religion. The 4 Noble Truths was Buddha. Justin Welby is the Archbishop of Canterbury. Hajj is the term used for pilgrimage to Mecca, and hence the term when you come back from Hajj is Haji. The Psalms are the 150 songs and poems in the Bible. Diwali is the festival of lights in Hindu, and Hanukkah, celebrated around Christmas, is the festival celebrated in Judaism. And your round 8 answers: Clive. C.S. Lewis is Clive. That's the term. So it's Clive Staples Lewis. National Aeronautics and Space Administration. What is it? High Definition Media Interface, HDMI. Universal Serial Bus. Francis Scott Fitzgerald is F. Scott Fitzgerald. And water, believe it or not. So WD-40 actually stands for, let me see, water displacing spray. So WD-40, and apparently the 40 comes from the fact that it was the 40th formula he came up with. So yes, that's your final answer for tonight. WD-40. Anyway, hope you've all enjoyed the quiz. Like I said, do stay in touch with me via all the different social media channels, and get in touch via Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and use the hashtag BigNerdPubQuiz. Let me know how you got on. How do you think it was the quiz? Was it too hard? Was it too easy? Don't forget to donate to the Patreon and the PayPal if you think that this quiz is worth it. Like I said before, it's based on a model of soundness. If you saw me down the street and would like to buy me the price of a cup of coffee or a pint, always consider donating to the PayPal and the Patreon. Coming up this week, Tuesday the 21st, is the games quiz, followed by the wrestling quiz on Thursday night. And that's the rest of July there. We got the second music quiz on the 28th. And for all the Trekkies out there, I'm doing one more big Star Trek quiz. August, it's looking as though I'm going to only have one quiz a week, and I'm probably going to keep doing them on Sundays. As I said, we're all getting back to normal. If the lockdown does come back, God forbid, it hopefully won't, well, I'll always be here for you guys. But like I said, I'm going to keep concentrating on one quiz a week from then on in. But until then, I do look forward to seeing you all again. Also, don't forget to tune into my breakfast show every weekday morning from 7 to 10. It's always a bit of crack. That just remains for me to say, have a really great rest of your week. And I'll see you guys all again on Tuesday evening on the 21st with the Big Nerd Games Quiz. For all you gamers out there, that's on Tuesday night, followed by the wrestling quiz on the 23rd. I'll see you guys all shortly. Take care, stay safe. Much love, and have a great evening. Good night.
Get